Hi everyone, and welcome back to Meg's Corner, where this week we're going to be talking about different alternatives and strategies that you can use to help promote recovery in this time. So whether you're out there running easy, fun miles or doing a bunch of virtual races or both, this is going to be super important, as recovery is one of the most important aspects of your training. So to start off, we're going to talk about some alternatives for manual therapy when you don't have the ability to go see your physical therapist or massage therapist, athletic trainer, etc. So with the first option that you can try, if you are comfortable with it, is self-massage. With this, you want to try to do like moderate pressure and just basically using your own hands and just working through areas of soreness. When you do self-massage, you want to try to work towards the heart. So you start off farther away and work your way up. So for example, if you are doing your quads, you would start closer to the knee and work your way up towards the hip. Another option, if you're not comfortable with the self-massage, is to try foam rolling, which hopefully all of us have tried before. If not, it's a great idea. With the foam rolling, you want to try to work all the way along the muscle belly, again, working from farther away and then closer to your torso. So with the quad, again, you'd start at the knee and work your way up. And you can so there are a few different ways that you can think about foam rolling. You can work in small sections and kind of do like 10 little rolls over the foam roll, and then move to the next area. When you find an area that's a little bit, it's a little more sore or tender, spend a little bit more time there. So now, branching off of both of those with self-massage and foam rolling, another thing that you can try at home is kind of a modification of an active release technique, where you can utilize a lacrosse ball, field hockey ball, tennis ball, anything that you have available to you, and use that in the area of soreness or adhesion. So say, for example, you're foam rolling your quads or your hamstring. So when you find an area that is sore, you can almost feel a knot, there's an adhesion there. Basically what you can do is, if you take this lacrosse ball or whatever tennis ball, you would essentially try to apply pressure in that area. So if it's your quad, you would lay on your stomach and hold the pressure over that area in the quad. Or if it's your hamstring, you'd be sitting down and applying pressure to that spot. So now, taking a little bit of a step back for the active release technique, the science behind it is essentially you're trying to break up scar tissue or adhesions with movement. So it is an active technique. So say you're doing a quad, right? So you apply the pressure to the area of soreness or the knot there. While you're holding that pressure, you are going to bend and straighten your knee, and you can almost feel the tissue kind of breaking up. It is not the most comfortable thing, but it is similar to an active release technique that you may see us do in the clinic. Now, going back to the hamstring, if you do an active release technique like this with the hamstring, it is best to do it like sitting on a firm surface or like a chair, and apply the pressure. So say you're sitting, you apply the pressure to the hamstring, and you put pressure through that area. Straighten your knee and then bend. Straighten and bend. And that will kind of break up any scar tissue or adhesions that you may have in the hamstring that could be causing you any pain. So if you have any questions about manual therapy or any other alternatives, or how you can apply the different techniques that I just talked about to yourself or different areas on your body, feel free to shoot us a message or set up a consult with one of our PTs or clinicians, and we could definitely review a few more. Now, for an alternative for the recovery boots. So a lot of us don't have access to the recovery boots at home. If you do, that's awesome, and I'm very jealous of you. But it's still super important to get try to get as similar of a recovery as you can while you don't have access to the boots. So to kind of explain the science behind the recovery boots is that they use graduated pressure to get old blood out of your legs, out of the tissues, so that new blood can come, and new blood would be nutrient rich and newly oxygenated, which will ideally promote recovery and optimize recovery. So if you don't have these boots accessible, another thing that you can use is gravity. So basically what you can do is if you put your legs up on a wall, so having your legs up on a wall, laying on your back, so your hips are at 90 degrees and your legs are straight up, and you allow gravity to kind of essentially pull that old blood down you lay there for about like 8 to 10 minutes if you can. And then when you stand up, the idea is that new nutrient-rich oxygenated blood will return to those tissues and in the end of the day promote recovery. So just an alternative to try if you don't have the recovery boots available to you. And also a very effective way to help with recovery. All right, so just to recap, we went over a few different ideas for alternatives to manual therapy and ways that you can still attempt to do an active release technique on your own with basic household items and what you have available, and also an alternative for the recovery boots. And again, if you have any further questions of how to apply this to different areas as opposed to quad or hamstring, feel free to shoot us a message. And also going back to active release technique, you can also do this manually. So if you apply pressure in an area, a good example is the muscle in the front of your shin, the anterior tibial muscle. So say you have a lot of soreness here, right in this, there's soreness right there. Hold pressure there, and then what you're gonna do is you point your toes up and point them down, up and down. And that is essentially another way that you can do a self-active release technique. So, with all of that being said, again, if you have any questions, comments, or anything that you want to see in the future, feel free to shoot us a message, and we'll hopefully include it in the future. Thanks. Bye.